Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, good morning. It's beautiful Saturday, but is Bitcoin in trouble? Because of all the bad actors in 2022, we had so many. So does that mean Bitcoin is dead? It's going to be gone. It's in deep trouble. Well, I'm going to answer all those questions and more in this stream. So, welcome, guys. Let's get to it. I know many people are very fearful right now, asking the tough questions like, is crypto going to go anywhere? Is it dead due to FTX and everything else, right? Are we done for? Well, that's what I'm going to answer today. Let's start out with FTX. Duh. FTX fires its top 3 executives, okay? Who are the top 3? Well, since SBF already resigned, you have Gary Wang, and then you have Caroline and Nishad, basically the top 4 people in FTX. Because FTX is now run by a new CEO, he decided to just fire them and maybe finally take their privileges away because supposedly, you know, that hack was an inside job, right? And who knows if one of the 4 were behind it. So I guess officially firing them takes away their credentials, and if they try to mess with anything else, then they're going to be in deeper trouble. Well, so that's not a surprise. But of course, what's going on with FTX, there's still a lot of discovery happening with their books or lack thereof. There's a lot of reports about they had no bookkeeping. Like what some of the trades that were going on, they have no idea. They didn't document anything. They didn't document where the assets went. I mean, it's a real mess. That's how bad it is. But they're trying to look at the 100+ creditors, and they're trying to pay the ones that are the most critical right now, right? So it's a huge mess. The CEO, the new CEO, said he has never ever seen anything like this. But also, what adds to the complication is the fact that the Bahamas, their regulator, they asked FTX to send a tremendous amount of assets to them. They feel like it's within their rights to do so, that to take the assets for safeguarding. Okay, so now they have to deal with this. I mean, technically speaking, FTX filed for bankruptcy protection in the U.S., which is kind of weird because they're based in the Bahamas. Right? So technically speaking, this should be done in the Bahamas, not in the US, but they have done so. So now the bankruptcy lawyers, they're trying to fight for these assets, which I don't know technically if they have a right to ask for because they're technically a Bahamian company. So there's that mess too. And how much are they holding right now? We don't know. We don't know. Like I said, this whole thing is just still a big mess. SBF's new lawyers terminate their representation due to conflicts of interest. What does that mean? Well, because SBF has been tweeting so much, all this stuff about how, you know, he's sorry, his number one priority to get funds, you know, users' funds back. And he, you know, there's a leaked interview, right? Yeah, he played coy saying, oh, I didn't know it was going to leak. And then he pointed all fingers at Caroline, trying to divert blame. You know, all this stuff that he's been, you know, sharing on Twitter, you know, his lawyers are fed up and said, yeah, we can't represent this guy, especially when he's incriminating himself every day on Twitter. Basically, that's the bottom line. And I believe this is like the new lawyer that he got, which was he was friends with his father. Because the old team all left, and he had to get someone else, and this new person also quit. That's how bad it is. And what's funny is they also took this into consideration. This has nothing to do with crypto, but I put her on the thumbnail. Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes, finally, after so many years, after the collapse and everything, she has finally been sentenced to 11 years in prison. And this was actually one of the things a lawyer was looking at, whether or not she was going to dodge jail time. And then maybe they would continue to represent SBF. But at this point, it's a lost cause. Basically, SBF is going to face some jail time. And it could be really bad. Okay, I saw a CZ interview yesterday. They were asking him about the books of SBF and FTX. And he even said, well, once we looked at it, once we discovered that he was using client assets and moving them around, that's when we stopped, basically, because if you can't even trust him for that, then who knows what else he is hiding. This whole thing was built on a house of cards, and that's just the bottom line, right? And then, of course, we had other collapses this year, too. And I saw this because they don't know where Do Kwon is, the South Korean authorities, now going after the other co-founder, Daniel Shin, which basically he hasn't been really involved with the project, but he's a co-founder of Terra, and they seized $104 million from him. Okay, so he even may see jail time for his involvement with Terra. So this whole thing about Do Kwon saying, "Oh, no one's really after him" and stuff like that—that's nonsense. That's nonsense. His counterpart, which hasn't really been with the company for a while, right, had his entire fortune seized right now, and they're looking to charge him with a couple of things. One is suspicion of unfair profits, and then another one is funneling some of the profits into his other company, Chai, right? So he may be facing some jail time, and Do Kwon definitely, if they could catch him, may be facing some jail time. And of course, there are others that I didn't even mention, with Three Arrows Capital, Zhu Su, and Alice Mazinski of Celsius, and others, right? They're all in deep holes right now, or in hot water. So all this happened this year. That's how bad it's been, right? It's been really, really, really bad. That's why a lot of people are fearful of what's happening, right? Will we ever recover from this? Can we trust anything moving forward? And of course, Jamie Dimon is, of course, on the attack. Jamie Dimon saying, well, the regulators have done nothing, right? He's already called Bitcoin a Ponzi, called it the greatest Ponzi of all time, called it like a tulip bubble, basically says he wants nothing to do with crypto. And now, of course, he's on attack saying regulators have done nothing, and they should do a lot more and crack it down and just take down the whole Ponzi, right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing about these big boys, or these Wall Street guys. Jamie Dimon is out here claiming this, yet his own company has been involved with Bitcoin. Actually, their wealth advisor group has been advising people to get involved with Bitcoin and crypto. And even this weekly recap, right? They even say, they're even trying to defend Bitcoin, saying that the news of collapse of FTX is empowering crypto skeptics. We would like to point out that all of the recent collapses in crypto ecosystem has been from centralized players and not from decentralized protocols. So even though JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon is so against supposedly Bitcoin and crypto, the company itself is not. And the fact that they're even trying to defend Bitcoin at this point tells you something, that they are not leaving the space at all. And they may be secretly, doing what they're doing behind the scenes to strengthen themselves for the future, especially in the crypto space, right? We always see this. We see a lot of institutions, their heads or whatever, come out and say very damning things about Bitcoin, like it's dead, it's going to collapse, and this and that, and blah, 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 right? But really behind the scenes, they're like, this is prime time to be loading up and stocking up. They do one thing and say another. And that's why when you see stuff like this, Bloomberg saying fall of crypto empire, basically declaring Bitcoin is dead, crypto's downfall, basically declaring crypto is dead once again, right? And Peter Brandt, which has seen this many times, and so have I, whenever you see the market or overall media so negative towards crypto or Bitcoin, that's usually a bottom indicator. That's usually when things go back up. In 2018, 2019, it was the same thing. 2014, 2015, same thing. Okay, we have seen declarations by so many saying, well, this is done. I mean, this whole thing is just go collapse to zero, right? But it's not. It's not. Unfortunately, we do have bad actors. We always have bad actors that maybe become too greedy or do shady things that they're not supposed to, right? But the market figures itself out and weeds out all these bad players. They weed them out, and then we recover and we head higher. That's how it's always been and will be. So despite everything that's going on right now, it may seem like all is lost. It's really not. It's really not. And even though, and I'm going to point this out, even though we have fallen recently, right? Of course, from the very top of 69,000, and we have even fallen below 20,000 recently, right? When we're hovering at 16.6, and this is a very, very low and scary level. Despite that, the fundamentals of Bitcoin has never been stronger. We have seen a massive amount of Bitcoin taken out of circulation, which is overall very good. And plus, when you still compare this price to the bottoms of these previous times I've talked about, we are still way, way, way higher. Of course, people that bought in at high or higher than where we are now does not want to listen to that because they are down, and there are a lot of people that are down. But for people that withstood all the negativity from before and bought towards those scary times, like the low of $160 for Bitcoin back in 2014, or like the 3,100 back in 2019, or even the 3,800 of March of 2020 with the COVID scare, well, they're still up hundreds of percents. And when you look at something like Ethereum, they're up thousands of percents, right? So just to give you guys some perspective on where we are versus previous times. And we have seen some very, very bad and scary times before. But we are weeding out the bad, and the fundamentals like this showing that the Bitcoin's coming out of the exchanges are basically by the boatload at this point. That's good. You want to take it out of circulation so there's less supply, right? And of course, the addresses are still on the rise. Number of people holding 0.1 Bitcoin, 0.01 Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoin, 100 Bitcoin, all much higher. Hash rate continues to go up. These are all great, great things that continue to drive things forward. So don't give up, my friends. Don't give up. All right, what else is there? Anything else? Well, for Bitcoin, yeah, a lot of bottom indicators, okay? So besides the fundamentals being really good, you have a lot of on-chain stuff, technical stuff that also show things are about to get better. For example, when you have very, very, very high volume spikes, okay, all previous times, they either mark a bottom or a top. So, but primarily this has been used to measure bottoms. Whenever you have a huge sell volume, right, a huge sell volume spike, usually things turn around. And we just had one of the most massive ones we have ever seen. It may be the most massive one we have ever seen in the history of Bitcoin, right? So there's that. Also, realized return. This shows how many people are actually down right now, about 30%. And again, if you go all the way back, whenever you see periods like this with that deep blue circle, that's a bottom indicator. And if you look at this is the drawdown time and percentage. So if you look at right now, we're in 364 days. We're nearly 1 year. Okay. Well, actually, this is past 1 year. This is 9th. I'm sorry. So we're past 1 year already. So you look at the biggest drawdown time was about 410 days. So we're already second right now, okay? And the previous high of 410 drawdown days, Bitcoin went down to 85%. Previously, we had one in 2017 to 2018. That was about a year. It went down 84%. So we're about 77%, right? We're still, a little bit off from that. But the number of days also getting close to the all-time high, right? Again, if you're playing the odds, you would say that, hey, the odds of a reversal is much more likely than another 40% downturn that some people are calling for. Like, oh, Bitcoin's will go down to 12K or 10K from here. We're talking about that's another like 40, 50% downturn from here. So what's more likely, that or we're forming a bottom and heading higher? You decide. You decide. All right, now outside of Bitcoin and crypto, there are some other positive stuff that's going on. Cardano is going to be launching a new privacy blockchain and token. Interesting. It says the network will strive to preserve privacy while giving access to regulators and auditors. What's this about? What's this about? So this is like basically, competing with the likes of Monero. I don't know if the regulators go like this at all, but they are launching this. I don't know the exact details, but this is interesting. This is interesting. And a new token too. So I thought this would be just like a layered, another layer on top of Cardano, but it sounds like it's a completely different thing. Interesting. Got to keep my eye on that. But FIFA is about to start. The World Cup is about to start tomorrow, and that's a huge thing. The world will be watching, and a lot of crypto projects are involved. The ones like Chili's, which is involved with fan tokens for a lot of these clubs, right? And also chains like Algorand, which is the official partner of FIFA, they will be involved. So a lot of these crypto projects that are involved with these soccer or football teams, right? They could be getting some really needed attention going forward in the next few months. So that's also pretty good. So keep your eyes on that as well. Outside of that, Bitcoin, if you take a look, Bitcoin is just going it's really, really, really stagnant, right? Just basically going sideways. But again, short term, got a lot of fear, got a lot of bad actors being weeded out. But long term, fundamentals continue to improve. And a lot of on-chain metrics and technical indicators show this is a great time to be stocking up. So stay strong, my friends. All right, let's do some Q&A. Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry. Always happens. All right. So scrolling down here, someone says thoughts on Fed investigation of Binance. It's not investigation. They want to know what they saw. Basically, they want to know what they saw on FTX books, what scared them away. That's what they're looking at. JP Morgan received bailouts in 2010. All these banks did. Every single bank received a bailout in 2010, 2009, 2010, right? Because of the housing bubble. But they all got a slap on their hands. That's it. There was no consequence at all, right? JP Morgan's been fined billions of dollars for laundering money. Okay? That's what all these banks and regulators say, crypto's used for illegal activities, right? Laundering money and stuff like that. Banks have been caught doing that. They're fined again. No one gets in trouble, right? So, the Fed is looking out for their own. They're looking out for the banks. Sam, appreciate it. Let's see here. Let's see. Las Vegas spokesmodel, you're welcome. What's the Bahamas go do with all that crypto? I don't know. There's a lot of speculation on what's going on with the crypto Bahamas held. Some people think that the hack, maybe just the Bahamans, maybe it wasn't a hack at all, that, they took the funds. But somehow SBF and others can't talk about it, right? They have not once talked about this. Not any of the founders or the leaders said anything about this. And this was only found afterwards. So again, was there something going on? Is there some handshake deal from before? I don't know. But yeah. How can we be at bottom if the stock market is set to drop in 10 to 20% in 2023? Who said it's going to drop 10 to 20% in 2023? I would say the opposite is going to happen. I mean, look at what happened last week. The U.S. market did well. Inflation is tapering out, right? And if in December we get another rate hike, but it's more dovish, like 50 basis points, that means we are tapering out, right? So I think 2023, at least the latter half of 2023, could be really good. I'm not saying right off the bat in January and February and March we're going to be flying. No. But if the Fed starts loosening a little bit, meaning that they're not going to raise rates as much as they previously said, that's going to set markets upwards. There's still a tremendous amount of money sitting on the sidelines. So I think by the time we get to second half of 2023, things will be recovering and could be in a big way. That's just my opinion. I could be way off. But just look at what happened 2 weeks ago and last week. Crypto, unfortunately, did not receive the good blunt of that because of FTX. But overall, the U.S. markets has been going up. Now, in Europe, it's a different scenario. I know it's a worldwide market, right? Europe is looking bad right now. UK keeps looking worse. So that could be a different story. Maybe that does affect supply chain even more going forward, but that's different. Macro Co. I 100% agree, and thank you. Let's see. All right, hold on. Well, I messed up here. I gotta scroll down. Shoot. Okay. Dan, crypto stock market on steroids. I mean, that's one way to look at it. It's like a leverage play, really. It goes up and down much quicker. Yeah, I agree with that. CRO getting delisted from Huobi. Interesting. I didn't know that. Are you sure CRO or a lot of exchanges have been delisting USDT and USDC? Oh no, that's Solana I'm thinking about. Okay. Dan says, haven't Bahamas always been corrupt? The country is built on pirates. Well, then you can make the argument Australia is built on prisoners. I don't think you could just say that. Okay. I don't know. They could be. I don't pay attention to what's been happening in Bahamas. So, but I don't think you can make a generalization like that. Do you think the sex tape will mark the bottom for the market? I don't know about that. Yeah, a lot of people say stock market is forward thinking. It's a predictor. People buy stocks because they're predicting or forecasting the future, right? So if we're getting good hints about inflation in the U.S. coming down or at least tapering or slowing down. Not saying that it's going to reverse hard, but even if it's slowing down and the Fed becomes more dovish, I would say that's a pretty good thing. Alex is asking, if World War III happens and we have a direct fight with Russia, what do you think the drop would be like? Don't worry about the drop in that case, man. You better be worried about your life, okay? Because 80% of humanity will die in that war. So I don't know why you care about BTC's price then. Everything will become worthless, and we will be put back in the Stone Ages. If I buy stocks, it's only those that pay dividends right now. I hate speculation. The stock market is insanely slow. I have to wait years to get a return. That's the reason why I don't invest in stocks. Well, first of all, I think the dividends are too little to be considering. And second of all, once you're in crypto, because of how fast moving it is, both ways, it's just more worth it, I guess, in my opinion. But of course, there are some stocks, I think. Stocks also, even though I say less volatility, they don't move as fast, but this year has been bad to a lot of tech stocks. So it's like a reset. A lot of stocks are back to pre-2020 levels. So picking them up now wouldn't be bad either. Depends, though. Depends on which companies. Have you been following Library versus SEC? I mean, what else is it to follow? They're done. They lost. So basically, we need someone else like Ripple to win. This proves that a small project cannot win against the SEC. So I don't know what's going to happen. If they have to give the money back, basically, that they raised throughout the years, something like that, they could still continue to operate. Doesn't mean that they have to shut down. But a lot of these projects, after they lose, they basically have no money to survive anymore. That's why we need someone like Ripple to actually win. Ripple is the only company that actually has the money and manpower to defeat the SEC. But, who knows? Gary Gensler may be in trouble because of his connection to FTX. So maybe we get a resignation from him in the future. Did you hear something about Killer Whales project? No. Why are people saying XRP will go to 10,000? No one is saying that. I think you just made that up. Literally no one is saying that. What's your opinion on Trust Wallet? I like Trust Wallet. I've been using it for a while. I think it's a great wallet. Just make sure you secure your phone. That's the most important thing. What's your opinion on Cardano? Do you think they will continue to sink in price? No, I don't think so. As long as the market holds up, Cardano has been pretty stable recently. They did this surprising thing. I don't know what the deal is about this new privacy blockchain and token. That just seems like a really bad idea right now. I don't know. I have to learn more about it. But overall, I think Cardano will continue to do well. When will the announcement of XRP and SEC happen? No one knows. If XRP loses, will that cause an FTX style collapse? Probably not. No. It'll cause that kind of collapse to XRP, but not for anything else. Because Bitcoiners don't believe in XRP or any other altcoin, so I don't think it's going to affect Bitcoin much, but it will affect XRP a lot. If XRP loses that lawsuit or Ripple loses that lawsuit, I don't know the devastation that'll come to XRP token. But on the reverse side, if they win, XRP is go pump to the moon. Is Trust Wallet a hot wallet? Yes. Anything that you can't disconnect from the internet is a hot wallet. Technically speaking, if you put Trust Wallet on a phone that has no Wi-Fi and no 4G, you could say that's a cold wallet. But basically, you just need a wallet to disconnect from any kind of internet connectivity. Your thoughts on Sol? I'm buying and holding. Good or bad? Not good or bad, just neutral. I think Sol is oversold for sure. But whether or not it's going to reclaim its strength like before, that's hard. That's hard because of the whole FTX thing. They're kind of like, tied with FTX to the hips, so to speak. But it's not their fault. I think they'll come up. They are definitely oversold. But whether or not they're going to regain their strength like before, I don't think that's going to happen. The next halving is in 2024, so that is something to look forward to. Start a cooking channel called OnlyPans. That's actually very clever. That's actually a very clever name. Ethereum supply is deflationary. Doesn't mean eventually its supply go to zero. But yeah, even if it's deflationary, it's very little. It'll take thousands of years before that happens. So technically speaking, yes, but the time time required to do that is going to be way down the road. So all right, guys, I'll let you guys go. Overall, I know it's scary. It's fearful. There's a lot of bad actors, and we're still reeling in from this FTX saga. It's not over. But is crypto dead? Is Bitcoin dead? The naysayers will want you to believe that. But it's not true. We will recover this. We will get stronger, and we'll continue forward. So stay strong, my friends. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.